On Janice, Susanna, Mary Alice, they're ready to rock and roll on Project Sister Family Services. Take it away. Guys, if we can let them have our full attention, thank you.
Okay, we did our agency visit on Project Sister, which concentrates on victims of sexual assault. I'm Mary Alice Garcia.
I'm Susanna Hernandez.
And I'm Janice Craig.
Okay, we started off with some statistics of sexual assault. 1 in 2 sexual assault victims is under age 18, and 1 in 6 is under the age of 12. Less than 1 in every 3 sexual assaults is reported to law enforcement officials. A woman is raped every 2 minutes in the United States. 1 out of every 3 women and 1 out of every 5 men in Southern California will be sexually assaulted. Sexual assault is a violent crime affecting all ages, races, cultures, and economic classes. 6 out of 10 sexual assaults occur in a survivor's home or at the home of a friend, relative, or neighbor. 77% of sexual assaults are committed by the people the survivors and victims know. And these are taken from the U.S. Department of Justice, and they're also stated on the website of Project Sister. That's everybody. Project Sister. The mission is to reduce the trauma and the risk of sexual violence and child abuse. Their vision is to have a healthy and safe community, aware of the impact of sexual violence and child abuse, and committed to their elimination. The primary client and demographic services. Project Sister mostly works with women, men, and children of all ages. And the demographic services serves most of the Latino community due to the location in Pomona. They serve low to middle socioeconomic status, serves various education levels, and the demographics have remained stable for women and children. However, for the men, the demographics have increased over time. Services. Project Sister has a two-step approach, 1 being prevention and 2 being crisis intervention. With prevention, they provide education, self-defense for women, community services, and harassment awareness training. And through crisis intervention, they have a 24-hour hotline, which is 24 hours, 7 days a week. Crisis intervention counseling, and they also act as advocacy, which is where they go to the court, police department, hospital, wherever the client needs to go, they go along with them. And they also make referrals to other agencies depending on the need of the client, and they provide resources for the client. Services are provided for the victims, however, the services are not provided for the offenders. So, reducing child abuse and neglect. So Project Sister offers outreach programs to the community to help reduce child abuse and neglect, sexual assault. Usually to elementary schools, junior high schools, colleges, community centers, other agencies, and they also educate families on how to become aware of abuse and how to reduce and stop it. Obviously, the workers at Project Sister are mandated reporting, especially if abuse is suspected. Okay, mental health issues. Some mental health issues with clients would be, well, it's usually primarily impairments in functioning, PTSD, substance abuse, eating disorders, anxiety disorders, depression, and low self-esteem. And so to address these issues, if Project Sister can't help them with their specific need, they refer them to other agencies depending on the problem for assessment.
Okay, so the focus of the agency. Project Sister mainly focuses on assessment of risk and family involvement. Through assessment of risk, they focus in seeing the client's problem and needs, and based on what they need, they refer them to other agencies if that's necessary. And for family involvement, they make sure that they inform and educate the family in regards to the problem that's going on. Strengths and weaknesses in clients. The person we interviewed mentioned that the strengths and weaknesses vary with each client depending on their problem. And she mentioned that one of the strengths that is seen often is that some clients are able to recover quicker than others. And for weaknesses on the other hand, some clients don't recover because they stay too dependent on the counseling. And as well, everyone that comes in has different coping skills. Some clients need help with the legal process. Others have difficulty sustaining healthy relationships. There's clients that also have very low self-esteem, and they have difficulty with sexuality. There are others that also suffer from emotions such as fear, guilt, anger, and sadness. Methods used. Project Sister uses several different methods. Assessment is done thoroughly in counseling and through the hotline. Those who work with the hotline, they make sure that they listen to the client carefully and thoroughly about every detail, regardless that the time is pressed. And also through the phone, there's also like limited resources that can be available to the client. And for those, the counselors, they make sure that they take history of the client into account when they're assessing them. They also make sure that they listen to them thoroughly and attentively, and they assess for physical appearance to check for any sorts of impairments in functioning. Instruments used to measure success. Well, everything is very confidential, so due to that, due to the privacy of the client, there was no information given as to the follow-up and success of the client, or any instruments used to measure their success. Collaboration with other agencies. Well, depending on the needs of the client, Project Sisters, they refer and they collaborate with different agencies. For example, with social services agencies, they work with them very often, and they also work with government agencies such as the DA office, police department, drug and alcohol dependency programs, victim witness, and the WIC. Qualifications and training of the staff. Those working through the hotlines, they have to actually be state certified for crisis intervention. And the counselors working there, some have bachelor's and master's. It's not necessary, but it is desired. And for training, they offer ongoing education about the resources required through CEUs, which is continuing education units. And they also have ongoing training in human relations, resource awareness, and communication skills. And every new staff member that comes in, they're also trained as well.
The staff turnover there is very minimal, and they blame that on the cohesiveness of the staff. They say that they're very like-minded and that they get along very well. And in their ability to work well is a passion for their wanting to do the same thing and have the same desire for the outcome of the client. That's their blame on the cohesiveness of the staff. The abdication for the minority, they have a sliding scale there for minorities so that everybody has the ability to pay for services, and so that nobody is turned away for lack of payment. They also have a program called Victim's Witness, and the Victim's Witness will pay for services for a victim and at no cost to the victim, so that they can come and have services rendered to them. So, okay, confidentiality. They have informed consent. Informed consent for therapy. It's where they're informing the client as they're going along that they're having certain consent laws, and they're mandated to tell them about these things. They're mandated reporters. They have confidentiality, and as they go along and they have sessions with the clients, they have to tell these clients that these things are in place for them. There's the HIPAA laws. That means that they have to let the client know that the HIPAA law is in place for them, and that there's no the confidentiality law is in place, and they can't give out the information without their consent. There's, the confidentiality for these clients are to the fullest, and they can't speak to anybody else without that client's consent. The tariffs law is also in place. That means they have a duty to warn. So if they think that client is gonna hurt somebody else, or there's some kind of harm in place, they have to warn. And they have to also let the client know about this while they're sitting down with them, that they have that duty. Societal values. Some of the societal barriers that Georgina told us about is that this is an issue that nobody really wants to talk about, is sexual abuse, especially sexual abuse of children. And so that one really comes up a lot, and since nobody wants to face that problem, that's a real barrier for them. And some of the success that they have is that the media is now being publicly with that, and they're getting a lot of publicity as that they're available for services. The clients are more willing to talk to them about the issues that they're having, and like we said earlier, the men are more willing to come forward and let them know that they're also having sexual abuse done to them. Is the media helpful or harmful? She said that actually the media is very helpful to them. When they go out in the community and they do some community services and everything, that they're actually getting a lot of feedback from that, and it leads people to face the truth that the problem is existent, and it actually leads people to talk about the issue more, and it's helping them with their cause. Their actual ability to have more people come forward with it, that they've been sexually abused as a child, and maybe they're coming forward as an adult. We interviewed Georgina Martinez, and we talked about the greatest accomplishment and her personal reward. And for the facility itself, the greatest accomplishment is the amount of clients that they've been able to serve. And this is actually their 40th anniversary of helping the community, and just being able to help the numerous people that they've been able to help. And despite the economic issues that most nonprofit agencies are having, that they're still able to provide the services to the community. And her personal reward is seeing the difference in someone and knowing that the client knows that someone cares. And she actually said that it's just rewarding. There's no way to describe it. Those were her actual words. And treatment for the effects of childhood sexual abuse includes individual psychotherapy that helps survivors talk about their experience with special trained psychotherapists who understand the healing process. Group psychotherapy is especially helpful to survivors as for some amount of individual therapy allows them to share their experience with others and learns that they are not alone. Fortunately, not everyone who experiences sexual abuse as a child continues to experience difficulty as an adult. But for those that do, Project Sister Family Services provides specially individual and group psychotherapy to address the multiple and varied problems related to a history of abuse.